FM podcast. We are looking at the things I wish I knew before joining law school.
Welcome, my name is Thuku Mburu, and today I'll be sharing 10 things that I actually wish I knew before I became a law student. Immediately after Form 4, while I was choosing to do my law degree, I wish I'd have been better informed about what it is like really to be a law student. I was young, I was naive, and full of false expectations. I hope that these 10 things that I will be sharing will be useful to those that are considering taking up a law degree, and I know current students and former students can actually relate to some of the things that we will be sharing. Number 1, career prospects. Law is a well-respected degree, but its graduate prospects are not as good as universities like to make out. A law degree actually does not guarantee riches, and there is a stark contrast between the high earnings people think lawyers are paid and what they are actually paid. I'm sure that lawyers who are in the practice can verify this. Number 2, there is so much reading. I had some idea that there would be a lot of reading, but I had no idea that horror stories of law students spending all day and all night in the library were actually true. There is a lot of reading. I once spent so much time in the library that I couldn't keep track of the time, and I was actually locked in. I could hear friends testify that they were genuinely feeling homesick. So, if you wish to become a law student, be prepared to study long and hard hours. Number 3, you'll need to work hard, work smart, and be organized. The workload becomes easier if you are well organized and focus on working efficiently. Planning ahead early and prioritizing work over play avoids dreaded all-nighters. We used to say as students, you cannot fatten a bull on the eve of the market day. Shortcuts in reading may be made too, and this is part of reading smart. Having an idea of what the case facts are, the legal principle that was established in that case, and how that case was reported will give you much focus when you'll be reading through it, and you'll just be taking out the key points. This is something which is not taught. Number 4, for every time a friend has asked me a legal question, you guess right, I will be rich. For some reason, people think that law students are overflowing fountains of legal knowledge to be tested at will. This is simply not the case. No, I do not know about the legal intricacies of internet libel law. No, I also can't help you to get out of your mobile phone contract. And no, I also can't help you if you've killed a man. And even if you go to give advice, be sure you add disclaimers. Number 5, life revolves around your next lecture or your next tutorial. To start with, you will have lectures. Then you'll be assigned reading to do and answers to prepare for the lectures. I was unlucky enough to have lecturers who would use tutorials as interrogation sessions to highlight your deficiencies in knowledge and in understanding of the law. My motivation for those lectures was avoiding the wrath of the lecturer. In hindsight, this method of teaching clearly worked. Smaller group teaching sessions are key opportunities also for someone to test their understanding, and this can be done with your peers, and it gives structure to your learning. The more effort you put into them, the more you will learn. Number 6, law school is intense. In your law school, you are always competing against your fellow students for the best grades. Some law schools' marks actually use a bell curve so that your grades directly depend on how the rest of the years performs. Some students become extremely defensive and do everything they can purely for personal gain at the expense of others. This is rare, but law school can be a bit like being on The Apprentice or some competitive show on TV. Competing against others is high-level pressure, and the environment has a backstabbing and dramatical outlook. Number 7, law books cost a fortune. I remember being shell-shocked at having to spend $14,000 on essential textbooks in my first year of university. To this day, the expense of law textbooks still hurts. Number 8, did I really choose the right degree? These are questions that will always come up. At some point during their degrees, law students will lack motivations, and their motivations levels will also go low. And the mountain of cases they have to read, law students will question their choice. A law degree will stretch you to your limits and test your commitment. I know many students who have dropped out of law degrees, unable to cope with the intensity. Don't make the decision over the choice of degree lightly. A law degree is expensive investment. In fact, some may be better off choosing a degree that they enjoy at the university, in which they can gain better honors, and then decide to commit to law school later on. Number 9. The jump from A levels to law school. I thought I'd cope well with a law degree, having performed well at high school. There are good reasons why the entry levels are so high at the top of the university law departments. During my law degree, I felt very stupid about 90% of the time during my readings and would become disheartened by how much I didn't understand. Initially, I was very upset at struggling to achieve only a 50% in my work as opposed to over 70%, which will make you acquire an A. This is relatively normal. The process of learning and understanding is different and takes some getting used to. In fact, Mr. Oduor, my taught lecturer, once said, if you are not getting frustrated, then you are not learning. Finally, there are social stereotypes that are associated with lawyers and with law students. There are a series of phrases that you'll have to get used to hearing and get to thinking of good responses actually. Oh, you're studying law. Maybe you can help me out someday if I get into trouble. That is one of the many phrases that you will hear. Well, I see you've sold your soul to the devil for riches. How can you defend someone you know to be guilty? You lawyers are heartless and cold-blooded. Those are the 10 things that I wish I had known before joining law school. Thank you.
Stay tuned to learn more on our next podcast.